about our show tonight.
Absolutely. We always have amazing shows, amazing guests, and, I'm looking forward to what's in store for us on today. We do have a special guest with us. Her name is Vanessa Johnson Brinkley. She is nicknamed Fireball, but walks in a prophetic voice to the nations who God has called her to walk in. And she also walks in the offices of pastor and prophetess. She was ordained and installed June of 2010 as a pastor and has never stopped yearning and searching for the deep things of God. She understands that there is more to God than what the natural eye sees, and there are truly no limitations to what God can and will do. And this is why her life continues to demonstrate her total commitment, trust, and dependence on Him. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and bring Vanessa Johnson Brinkley on. Are you there, love?
Yes. Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Wonderful. Excited about being on the radio. That's all. Just excited.
Absolutely. Well, we are more than happy to have you. So what we're going to do is give you the floor so you can open up and, just tell, I gave a brief introduction of you, but go ahead and tell our listeners, more about Vanessa.
Oh, my goodness. I really keep Vanessa simple. I'm just a simple young lady loving God, just loving on Him, but loving Him more so because of His goodness and His grace. I have 4 wonderful grown children and have lots of grandchildren. I'm married. I live in the state of Delaware with my husband, who is a gourmet chef. And so, like I said, I just keep my life pretty simple. Yes, they do call me Fireball because of the way God uses me in the prophetic and to minister and teach others. Definitely to the point and straightforward. I don't hold no punches when it comes to the things of God. I'm very keenly aware, and I just love how He just flows through me. I'm humble and honored for Him to just choose me to be a vessel, to divinely connect to others.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I believe in that, being straightforward to the point. Might as well, no point in being around the bush, right?
No, ma'am. Keep it real.
And a lot of times, people may not like that realness. Some people do, some people don't. So have you always, you're a pastor.
Yes.
How long have you been pastoring?
I've been pastoring since 2010, and the awesome thing about how God has me pastoring, I am not in 4 walls, which I am so thankful for. And so pastoring for me is out in the community and connecting to the ones that will never step foot in a building, so to speak, pastoring to those that have been what we call church hurt, and just ensuring, that they stay on that path, they continue to seek God for everything. I'm that coach, I'm that pusher to them to make sure that, they hear and aware of God talking to them, and they're seeking and searching out Him, and not me, so to speak, me being a pastor, yes, but the ultimate goal is to get them to hear God for themselves.
And that's one of the most important things, making sure that, they do hear God for themselves. And I love it that, you're not just sticking to the 4 walls, because it is important to, get out there and do those things. As a PK, my mom is a pastor, so, as a PK, we were, just growing up before she even started, pastoring and just in, certain churches, we were just in church. However, as we started to branch off and, get into the community and, work with the people that don't go to church, like you said, those who, are kind of weary or, just kind of cautious about coming to church, and just being able to show them, the love of God. That's powerful. There's nothing like that,
No.
And sometimes, and, many may not agree, but sometimes I think that, I would take that over a regular Sunday in church, just being able to, share that with others because it's so important. Now, you shared with us how long you've been pastoring, and we did feature you in Authentically You magazine for our last issue. Yes, awesome. So, tell us, as a pastor and being a woman, like, what has been your greatest challenge?
There's been a lot of those. As you know, I say I can attest to being brokenhearted, messed up, cast down, abused, cast out. Like, my life, I would say, has been through like a tsunami of tornado experiences. From the beginning when I was little, sexual molestation as a child, to domestic violence and sexual abuse as a high school teenager, and a young adult as well, to the state of, in my first marriage, it was just marriage survivorship. Like, I was surviving, and I had a lot of inner struggles that I was dealing with, and in the midst of that, it ended in a traumatic separation leading to a divorce. And then now it's like I'm living life and living it abundantly with my husband now, and I'm joyful. I'm joyful. I'm thankful for what I went through because it has taught me, I don't have to mask anything. I can be real. I can be myself and just be authentic. So, with all of that, I know who I am and whose I am because of the one that brought me through it all.
That's amazing. That is awesome. That's one thing that Nakia and I say on several of our shows, actually, is that everything that we go through is for the good.
That's right.
So, of course, when you're going
Literally.
through it, you don't see the good,
That's right.
But it's evident in how you're living your life and how you're ministering and pastoring and helping others that everything that you went through, you're showing right now how that is for the good. And I think that is absolutely amazing.
Yes,
absolutely amazing. Because some people never get to that point.
No, they stay broken down, and it's so and I can say I almost got to that point, but I thank God because of my relationship with Him. I thank God that He brought me out of the religious sect, all of that religion. It was worse than anything. When I really, really understood my relationship with God and depended totally on Him, it was victory. It was victory. It was victory, and that's what I teach. I teach victory, how to overcome and how to stand in the victory that He has already won for us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My question to you, which I totally agree with, I love the fact that your church is beyond the four walls, because a lot of times the four walls is where people stay.
Right.
They don't go out into the community to help others who need the help the most, to me.
That's right. That's right.
So my question is, with your church being that way, do you find it not difficult to reach people, but they're receptive to you because you're dealing with people who have experienced church hurt, or maybe the ones that they may feel like they're outcast, or they've been at this church and that church. So do you, how receptive are they to you?
Well, what I think I first thank the Holy Spirit for discernment, because with that discernment, He allows me to be able to find some type of connection with them.
Right.
A lot of them that He allows me to reach out to, they are going through what I've been through, or they're going through something I have come out of. So there's always a connection there for me to be able to reach them. And I'm always asking God, keep me aware of what's around me. You tell me what to say so I'll know what to say, so that, like I said, they've already been church hurt, so they don't need to be hurt anymore. They need healing in their lives and learn, to not mask what has happened or what is happening, but to move forward in the healing and then, gain that victory. So my life is totally committed to Him. So I got to totally depend and trust on Him for everything that He tells me about that individual. It doesn't matter what it is. It's that confidentiality that just keeps it going. And my unique personality, because everybody's personality is different. Right. I may reach somebody, we may go for the same person, but we will reach them differently because of our personalities. But the bottom line is that the Holy Spirit is the one that draws them in the end.
I like that. I do. I like that. Because that's very good. And, sometimes we get caught up on that. People try to figure out, why this doesn't work or anything like that. And one thing that I say is that, whoever God has for you to reach, whoever, God has for you, using you to reach those people, he will use you to reach them, in his way. And, we can't get caught up on, how this person does it or how that person does it, but being able to, allow God to use you the way that he wants to use you to reach the people that, needs to be reached. So I absolutely love that. Now, you started a brand called The Fight is Fixed. Tell us about that.
The Fight is Fixed. That is my life there pretty much, in knowing, once I got to a point in my life of knowing who I am and whose I am, I could look back and literally see how God had already fixed everything in my life for us to ensure that we walk in victory regardless of anything. We still have the victory. And so throughout everything that has happened in my life, the bottom line was, this fight is fixed. It's fixed. And all we have to do is get in position or get repositioned to understand, as when we was opening up those words, everything worked together for the good. Even when tragedies happen, they still work together for the good. Anything that happens in our life, God uses to work together for our good, no matter what. We have the victory. Jesus set us up that way when he triumphed over the enemy. That was already letting us know, I have done everything that needs to be done. I just need you to walk the path and in the purpose I called you to do.
That is right. That's absolutely right. And I think that sometimes it's easier to see that depending on what the tragedy is.
Right, absolutely.
So, some things to some people maybe, like I know somebody that her son passed away. He was 16 last year, an accident, a swimming accident. That was unexpected, So, to me as a parent, I have my children are adults, but as a parent, the natural order of things is that we're to pass first. So if one of my children passed away unexpectedly, I can't see myself like, okay, there's good in this. I know there is.
Right.
Because all things work together for the good. But it's like, my child has passed. What is the good? So
we
I
have
know
to deal with the humanity of it.
Right,
absolutely.
And that's any tragedy. That's any.
That's right.
But I think
absolutely.
And I think that some just hit us a little bit harder, depending on what it is. Depending on what it is.
Right. No, you're right. It does for some, depending on, like you said, what it is. It does hit harder. But then that's that even, and it hits the humanity side of us.
Right.
But we got to, and this is why I say God brought me out of the religion thing, because when I went through my first marriage, and some things happened, and I can share a part of that testimony where my husband, he at that time he had sexually molested my daughter. Okay. Now that's tragedy for me.
Yes.
Like you said, everybody's tragedy is different.
Right.
So that's tragedy for me. And so how I took it was like, oh my God, my whole world just fell down. Like, this is somebody I love. How could you do this to my child? And this was his stepdaughter, of course, but still, in fact, I remember the day my daughter called me to the T. I will never forget that day in my life. And from that day, my first and foremost thing was, I got my daughters back, regardless. Regardless. Now, not a lot of people would do that. A lot of women would say, I don't believe you. I'm going to stick with my husband. Yeah. It was the Holy Ghost on the inside of me. Everything on the inside of me made it known that I had to have my daughters back. I had to have her back. And from then on, the outside of me stood strong, but the inside of me was broken.
Yeah.
It was broken. But in the midst of that, I had a nice size weight. I'm a small, petite person, but I'd say at that time I was a 7'8". Throughout that whole process, I went down to a size 0. That's how much stress had partook of me, took everything out of me. I mean, like, yes, on the outside, I was still ministering to people. I was still, doing what I did. But when I got home, on the inside, I was torn. I was broken. I was everything. And all I could do was trust God. All I could do was depend on the Holy Spirit, because everything in me wanted to do stuff that I knew would have taken me away from my children for good. So I knew I couldn't do that. So I had to trust God. So it took him taking me step by step, because I was masking the hurt. I was masking how I really was feeling. I was masking the anger that I felt. All to say, I didn't want another woman to see me like that. Anybody I ministered to, I didn't want them. It was always, well, how are you feeling, Prophetess Vanessa? I'm good. I'm feeling fine. Glory be to God. And in religion, that's how we learn to mask it. That's how we, as a leader or a minister, whomever in a leadership position is, we're good, we're okay, as if we don't go through anything. Right. But I'm here today to say, the devil is a liar. God pulled me out of religion, and in my relationship developing with him, taught me to understand that they need to see the brokenness in me. They need to see how God turned all this around for my good. And why it turned it for my good? Because I can now, my eyes was open to see that was something prevalent in society that people did not want to talk about. And so I talk about it, but I try to talk about it and still shield my daughter at the same time. But I let people know these things happen. They happen, and you've got to deal with them. You can't be like how they were in the old days and sweep everything under the rug, because it begins to become a generational curse, and it has to stop somewhere. So that's where I have gained that brand. This fight is fixed. Even in the midst of that, when God brought me out and I began to look back on the situation, I still had the victory. My daughter still has the victory in all of it. We're living life abundantly now. My daughter has gone on. She's got her degrees, her children, working. I mean, she's just flowing. She's doing her thing in God. But it just was that point where when everything came down, I was just broken.
Wow. And
so
I love that.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I would say, like we were saying earlier, everybody's tragedy is different. But the bottom line is, are you going to trust God in the midst of it, or are you going to be led by your humanity? And see, God wants us to be led by the Spirit of Him. And when we're led by the Spirit, comfort comes in, healing comes in, because my healing process was so quick in it, I couldn't even believe it. It was so quick. Wow. So I am so thankful for God. I'm thankful that I truly understand that in spite of anything, this fight is fixed, because all things do work together for our good.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And I love that, Vanessa, because, anytime you start talking about masking, I'm all in it. But, and that's a good thing, because, when we feel like we're in situations, or when we say leadership positions, sometimes, we don't want others to see that. And I can say that because, like I said, I'm a PK, so my mom's a pastor, and so that led me to be in leadership positions within the church. And so going through different situations, we're still up there ministering. We're still up there doing praise and worship. We're still up there leading prayer, and we're still hurting, and we mask it because we don't want people to see it, because to us, we have to make sure that we sing together, that everything's working okay in our lives. But we have to understand that sometimes it's in the brokenness and allowing other people to see, hey, she's going through this. Let's see. I want to see how God is going to do this. And when He does it is for His glory. And when He does it, that shows others that, hey, I'm going through this situation too. So I saw how God, took her through. I saw how God brought her out. So I know that He'll do the same for me. And we have to be able to look at it like that instead of trying to, hide it and mask it. So I thank you for your transparency. I thank you for your story. Everything that you're doing. I love your brand, The Fight is Fixed. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to, what you're doing and everything. So tell us, how can our audience stay in contact with you, and also let us know if you have any upcoming events.
They can stay in contact with me. Of course, I have my Facebook page under Vanessa Johnson, and then I have my page Extended Beyond the Reach on Instagram. They can follow me under The Fight is Fixed. I do have a website, working on it, so I don't even want to give that right now, but I am working on it. They can also reach me at area code 302-393-5778. And I do have the Fight is Fixed Victory and Empowerment Tour starts next year, actually. We're launching here in Delaware in April. Matter of fact, it's April 13th and 14th here in the state of Delaware. And then in May, we will be in Columbia, South Carolina. And then in June, we will be in Raleigh, North Carolina. And we have some more cities I'm waiting on finalization for. I do know we'll be in Mesa, Arizona in September. So those are our upcoming events at the moment.
Looks like you're coming in our neck of the woods. Columbia is near
ma'am.
Nakia, and then Raleigh's near me. I'm in Greensboro.
I'm putting something together for the triad of Winston-Salem, Greensboro, and High Point. So be on the lookout.
Oh, I will. I sure will. Well, Vanessa, we sure want to thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to share with us. It's been truly a pleasure. And as Nakia said, thank you so much for your transparency. We want to thank you so much.
You're welcome. You ladies have an amazing night. It has been wonderful. It has been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we are going to take a break, and when we come back, we will come back with our next amazing guest. Stay tuned. Mm-hmm.
Lord, I come to Thee, 'cause I wanna be in Your presence, in Your presence. Now I do believe You have all I need in Your presence. In Your presence, Lord, early will I seek Thee for every circumstance, situation, and dilemma. In Your presence, Lord, there's fullness of joy, and You will show me the path of life. When I'm in Your presence, You give me revelation, insight, peace, and joy. And the joy of the Lord is my strength. That means that when I have Jesus' joy, I am empowered. In Your presence. Ooh, in Your presence, Lord, yes. In Your presence. More and more. More and more I see. I'm searching for a resting thirsty for an encounter with you, to draw near to you so that you will draw near to me. In your presence, you will cleanse me of any wrong desires and teach me your ways. Lord, I give you my whole heart and my whole mind to worship you in spirit and in truth, so that I may enter into your throne room and behold your glory. In your presence, away from the noise. In your presence, just to hear your voice. More and more, Lord, I'm seeking your grace, searching for to teach me your ways. In your presence, I'm empowered to change. In your presence, I'll never be the same. Search deep down, you're a shield for me. Purify in your own honey. In your presence, you're my peace and joy. In your presence, purify my heart. More and more, Lord, you comfort me. Searching for, give me sweet mercy. In your presence, you extend your hand. In your presence, and you call me your friend. Shine your light.
Awesome sauce. We are back. Welcome back to the Beautiful You, Authentic You radio show. I'm your girl, Nakia C. Evans. We just had an amazing first half of our show with our special guest, Vanessa Johnson Brinkley, pastor, prophetess, and she shared so much transparency and just being able to share with us of, what it's like to be a woman in ministry and basically, just sharing her story. And it was completely amazing and powerful. So I'm super excited, just by having her on the show. But we are back and we are getting amped up for our second half. And I am here with my co-host, Irena Tenen. Are you here, love?
I'm here, ready for that second half. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Awesome sauce. So let's get to it. Let's see. Our second guest is Dr. Linda Barnes. We're going to see if she is here. Are you here, love?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Awesome sauce. How are you doing today?
Great. Thank you.
Awesome. Glad to hear that you're good. Well, we are excited to have you on our show and just basically looking forward to what you have to share with us on tonight. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Dr. Linda Barnes. I help women overcome traumatic experiences so they could live a personal life, personal and professional life. I'm also a survivor of child rape and child molestation and domestic violence, and that actually put me in the realm of helping other women overcome similar issues or basically any traumatic experience.
Oh, that's great. That's great because I know sometimes when women or anybody actually goes through a traumatic experience, they don't know how to overcome it. They don't know the first thing to do, who to reach out to, or anything. So I think that's awesome that you provide that service to them. And I know a lot of times that when people offer service, it is because of something that they've experienced themselves. What are some ways that you actually help the women overcome their traumatic experiences?
I actually help them get them in the right mindset. It starts with the mindset, and with me, the way how I shift my mindset is through prayer, and praying and talking to God about whatever the issue is or whatever I'm trying to overcome on that day. Because most of the time when we do have traumatic experiences, for me, I suffer from PTSD. So on a day-to-day basis, I could have a good day or a bad day.
But I do take everything to God and talk to God about everything as much as possible. Sometimes it's harder than some days. It's harder than some, but it's a drive, But I do get them, staring in the right mindset by prayer, acknowledging their issue, and learning the different triggers on how to overcome those issues.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good. You mentioned that you are a survivor of that. And before you started helping others, can you share with us how you were able to overcome that abuse, what it brought with it, as far as your mindset, your feelings, and all of that, your self-esteem? Like, how were you able to overcome that?
It took me a while to really acknowledge the fact, because I blamed everyone. I blamed my parents. I blamed myself mostly. Even though I was a kid, my rapist used to always tell me things which kind of kept me in prison in my mind. So I used to be very suicidal, and at one point I was on that verge, and someone came to me and took me to a revival, and that revival actually saved my life. So from that point on, basically they taught me that I have a purpose, and then it took a while for me to really realize, okay, well, yeah, you have a purpose, and it took me that while to build my relationship with God, but building my relationship with God was the initial stepping stone to me realizing, I have issues and I have to deal with them accordingly. And basically my relationship with God helped push me forward into getting the help that I needed in order for me to those issues. And now that I've learned to overcome it, like I said, it's a daily routine. So now every day I have to empower myself, say, hey, I am a child of God, and He has given me the authority to trample over the serpents, and He has made me just a little bit lower than the angels. So I have to remind myself every day of that.
Right. Yeah, that's very important. Very important. And I think that is amazing that someone took you to a revival, and your whole mindset about who you are basically changed. You realize that, you do have a purpose. And I think that sometimes people never get to that point. Even if they didn't have a traumatic experience, some people to this day still don't know what their purpose is. Is that something that you help the women deal with as well, maybe finding their purpose through the traumatic experience or after?
Yes. Journaling is one thing that really did help me, and like I said, the prayer. Because as you build your relationship with me, as I build my relationship with God, He spoke to me, and through different signs and me reading the Bible, it opened up my relationship with Him, which led me to get into counseling, go back to school for counseling, and because I was the type, I never wanted to be vocal, I never wanted to talk to others like that. But once I heard His voice say, you need to get into counseling, then I know it was, that was my calling. So everything starts on that relationship with God.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and that's so important. Sometimes I don't think that people realize that we're trying to run into purpose. You hear different coaches and different things, and that's all we talk about. Finding purpose.
Yes.
And there's one thing that I tell people is that I don't know how you find purpose without knowing your Creator. I don't understand that process.
Yeah.
Because he's your Creator. He gave you purpose. So how can you find it without knowing Him? The person who gave it to you. So that's something that I say, and I can admit and say that, I tried to do purpose as well and things like that, but it didn't necessarily happen. I wasn't able to fully awaken into that until I began to establish a relationship with Christ, in order to know him, to be able to know myself, and in turn to be able to know the purpose that he had given me. So I think that that's very important that you stated that, none of that was able to happen until you, started a relationship with him. So that's very important. Now, you went through these experiences, God showed you where you needed to be, and you're helping women, find their purpose, helping them change their mindset, things like that. Other than those things, is there anything else that you do?
I'm also a business coach. Right now, I have a 5-day challenge about to start on the 27th, which is going to help women or, basically anyone create a product. I have created about 5, 6 products, physical products, exceptional from the books, the e-books, and other intellectual property that I've created. Well, this 5-day challenge will bring the ideas out of the mind and get everyone working on creating an actual product.
Oh, wow, that is exciting. I like that. Because I think that a lot of times I know I do, I have a lot of ideas in my head, a lot of ideas. That's probably why I can't sleep a lot of times at night, because I have so many ideas. So to be able to help, people get that product out from inside their head and actually out in the public, make it come tangible, a tangible product they actually touch, feel, that they created. I think that is great. So you have an e-book? Did you say you had an e-book out?
Well, I have one e-book on how to recognize the signs of sexual abuse in children, and it's basically a parent guide that breaks down if a child is showing certain signs or is telling you certain things to look for. Then it has a list of resources, numbers you can call, the different organizations you can call to get help if you think your child is being molested or a victim of sexual abuse.
Okay,
and
awesome.
With the 5-day challenge, it's basically it'll be a 5-day challenge where it'll be in the Facebook group, and it'll be a video a video showing them basically the different steps from ideation to design, protecting your idea, manufacturing, and funding. And it's not as hard as a lot of people think. It's harder than it's not as hard as what they think. With the product I created, I probably came up with the idea and had the product a little under a month.
Okay.
So, it's not as hard to do as a lot of people may think.
So what if someone they want to create a product, but they don't really know what kind of product? Could you help with that as well?
Yes, you do a lot of research. If you're not sure what type of product you basically do market research to see what products you could offer your community. Usually you do polls or ask questions in groups to see what the community needs, and if you want to create a product that fits that need. Yes, I do also help with that.
Okay, all right. Well, you said that you had the idea and produced that in less than a month. That's amazing because on my end.
And I've actually had the product for about 3 years now, and luckily I'm getting a possible celebrity endorsement, so I'm working on that right now.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. So I think that what you're doing is amazing, and that'll definitely help. Like Irena said, we have ideas in our head that may, it just kind of takes a little bit for it to actually produce into a product sometimes. So that's great. I think that the help and guidance would definitely help people to be able to move further, if that's, if that's in their purpose, if that's something that they're trying to do for business or ministry. So, yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, I haven't done one in about less than a month.
Right.
So I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to look you up so you can show me how to do that. So yes, that's amazing.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, that's good. So you spoke with us on the No Longer Hidden summit that we had, which was absolutely amazing.
Yes.
And you shared with us, and it's something that I absolutely love, because you were really giving us the information that sometimes people don't want to hear. You were giving us information concerning things that we needed to do, as far as speaking out, being bold,
Yes.
seeking help, which is something that we totally overlook. And, even at the summit, I told you, I was like, these are things that we need to look into. These are things that we need to hear. People need to tell us this, because we just, sometimes we overlook it. We want to say that we're fine. We want to say that things are whatever. And, we miss sometimes, being able to kind of open up, speak our truth, seek help if needed. Now, one thing that I absolutely love is that, you were very truthful with it. You were very open and bold with it. How do you show others how to be bold or how to speak out concerning their, seeking help for it is maybe one thing, but after the healing, after everything has happened, how do you show others how to, basically speak out to be able to empower and help others of what they have encountered?
Basically, you start with prayer and speaking out to God. Then you can start small, speaking out, to small groups. So, it's pick individuals or ask God to lead you to individuals to share your story. And once you start sharing, your story becomes easier to share more and more. It took me years to be able to be very open about my situation, because I didn't deal with it early on. It took me a while to actually realize, like I said, I had, an issue and I had to deal with it. But after I got counseling and help for my situation, it did open me up to speaking about my situation, because it did in turn heal. Gave me a process to heal me. So speaking out in small groups first, and then as get more comfortable, you speak out to more people, which in turn builds your confidence, and builds your confidence, and then you'll be able to. Once you get that confidence, then you feel like, okay, yes, I could do this, I can do that, and then in turn, that confidence turns into success.
Mm-hmm.
So what if someone finds it difficult to speak out? Sometimes sometimes people, that was one thing that I was terrified of initially, public speaking, and then if you have a traumatic story, I know that it could be part of a healing process by sharing, and the more you share, the more you're helping others and the more comfortable you get. But what if somebody is they're just like stuck, and it's like, I know I should share my story, but I'm scared. I'm scared. Do you have any advice for anybody like that?
Well, what I've learned is that we talk to ourselves the most. We talk to ourselves more than we talk to anybody else. And most of the time we talk that self-doubt. So basically changing your mindset and getting in that positive space that you are able to do anything possible is the first step. Shifting of the mindset. And, give yourself that positive talk. Leave affirmation, self-affirmation notes here and there. Remind yourself daily, I am beautiful, I can do this, I'm successful. Just giving yourself that self-positive talk will take and push you far further than anything. And once you're talking to yourself, then it'll give you that drive to open up more to others also.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's good stuff. That is absolutely good stuff. Well, we want to thank you, Dr. Linda, for sharing with us, for, being here and giving those, the tools and the steps that's needed to be able to do that. And I do want to ask you, how can our guests, if there's someone who's listening and say, you know what, I may need help with that, speaking out, or I may need to, seek some type of help, or, they're interested in your upcoming events. How can they reach out or stay connected to you?
I can be reached on my website. It's www.drlyndabarnes.com, drlindabarnes.com, or on my Facebook group, which is also Dr.
Okay. All right. Well, awesome sauce. Again, thank you so very much for sharing with us, for being with us, and, just taking some time out to, give us some tips and information on, being bold and speaking out. So thank you so very much.
Thank you. I appreciate it for you having me.
No problem at all. And you have a great one. So to all
You
of
too.
our listeners, thank you. So for all of our listeners, thank you so much for kicking it and rocking with us on tonight. Before we wrap this up, we do want to congratulate and give a huge congratulations to our co-host, Irena Tenning, for her newly released book, You Are a Gift. This book is for young teenage girls, and it is a #1 bestseller, as always, of course. What do you expect with Irena? And and she has done amazing things. And one thing that I love to say about her is that her and I, we haven't known each other that long. It's been about a year and some change, and we become very close, very close. We were able to put our brands together, Beautiful You and Authentic You, and be able to create this. But I love her passion. That's one thing that I can say. I love her passion for what she does. I love her passion for young girls. And this book is absolutely amazing. My daughter has it, and she has started reading it. And she's like, "Mommy, oh my gosh!" I'm like, "Yeah, you're so dramatic, but yes, this book is awesome." This book is awesome. But we do want to congratulate you, Irena, for your newly released book, You Are a Gift.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. And just so our audience can know, if there's somebody, who didn't see it on Facebook or, may not know about it, give us a little bit of information. What is this book? Tell us about it, how this came to be.
Okay. Well, like you said, it's titled You Are a Gift, and it is geared towards teenage girls. I think that in this day and age, unfortunately, a lot of girls don't see themselves as a gift. And it's evident in the way that they speak, in the way that they dress, in the way that they act. So my book is geared to help them during their teen experience, their teen years, to see themselves as a gift. The Bible says that children are a gift from God, and that is the scripture in Psalms that I took the title from. You are a gift. And so basically that's the premise. It helps them with things such as fear, dating and boys, parents, friendships, all the things that they go through, the terrible teens that they may have difficulty overcoming because it's hard transitioning from a kid to a teenager to an adult, and that sometimes is the hardest time for parents because the teenagers are, I'm not a kid, well, they are a kid, but they don't think they're a kid. So it's like a hard time for parents and teenagers. So the book really can be used for parents as well, to help them with the transition from their kids going from kids to teenagers. Each chapter actually has an affirmation. It has an activity for them and a personal reflection from me, letting them know what I dealt with during that age in those different circumstances. So I believe that the words that God gave me for that book are going to bless many.
Absolutely. I'm happy. Lyric just got into her teenage years. Girl, let me tell you, that book could not have come at a better time. Because I'd be ready to pull my hair out. I was like, oh, Lord, please tell me I was not like this as a teenager, please. But I think that, that's, completely amazing for what you're doing. And, I'm looking forward to, this book touching many young girls' lives. And you said it. Those times are kind of difficult. I know it was difficult for me, going through that. And, even though I'll be about to pull my hair out because my daughter is about to be 14, I can see that, growing up and dealing with changes and things like that, I can see the frustration sometimes as well, even with her. So I think that, this is going to be absolutely amazing, something for them to, remind them of how valuable they are, to remind them that they're not alone. And, to remind them that they have a daddy that's there for them and things like that. So I think that that's truly amazing. And I'm super, super, super excited for you and all that this, all that God has for you concerning this book. I am.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. So tell the audience how they can get this book. Because, I see people on this live. And listen, we want them to be able to, we all have girls. Everybody knows some young girl, even if it's not your daughter, it's your niece, sister, cousin, whatever, people at your school who may need this book. So tell them how they can purchase this book.
Okay. Well, they can purchase the book via my website, Irena Tinin Unlimited, ERAINA Unlimited.com, and click on shop, and it's there. That's for the paperback is $9.99, or they can go to Amazon and get a copy that way.
Okay. Awesome sauce. I definitely encourage all of you to pick up this book, bless someone with it, be able to, just share and let our girls know that they are valuable, that they are a gift, and that, no matter what is going on in their lives, they are totally not alone. So, yes, ma'am. Thank you. So, yes, make sure that you do that. Thank you again, everyone, for rocking and kicking it with us on tonight. We are always awesome and always happy to have you with us, just taking time out on your Sunday evening to kick it with us. We are looking forward to amazing shows coming in the future. So every Sunday, every Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you need to call this number or hit us up on Facebook, be on Facebook Live, Twitter, YouTube, and Periscope, okay? So make sure that you're doing this, and it's broadcast to different countries as well. The station broadcasts to over 165 countries. Oh, yeah. So we are definitely getting the word out. So thank you so very much, everyone. If you would like to be a special guest on the show, please reach out to me, Nakia T. Evans, or Irena Tennant, so that we can definitely give you some information on being a guest on the show. And Irena, is there anything else that you would like to say before we close it out?
I just want to thank everybody for calling in and joining us this Sunday. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. You could be doing so many other things on Sunday evenings, 8 o'clock, but you call in, you listen to us, and I hope that you're getting your friends, your family, and everybody else to call in, too. I want to thank you for calling in, and join us next week, same time, same place. Have a good night and a great week.
All right. Awesome sauce. Have a great one, guys.